What is up, everybody? It's Dominique, your CFP on YouTube. Today, we're going to be talking about understanding the commitment it takes to earn the CFP designation. Going to be unpacking that, at least from my perspective, my point of view, with my journey down that path. I know a lot of you want to know about that, so I'm going to be sharing mine. So hello, everyone. If we haven't met before, Dominique, the CFP on YouTube. This channel is all about my commitment to help you as an aspiring financial professional kind of navigate what could otherwise be a pretty lonely and difficult path. So, especially during the first couple years of business or so. And if you're thinking about becoming a financial professional, coach, advisor, having trouble deciding what path to go down, maybe between the traditional or the non-traditional, you're looking for more resources, whatever, happy to have you in the community. So it is all good and fine for you to be sitting here chilling out with us on a Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. So this community is interactive. So I want to make today really interactive, and leave your questions in the chat. Leave me a comment. Give me a thumbs up if the audio is good from where you're listening from. I would appreciate that. Also, tell me where you're listening from. I would love to shout you out during the stream if I can. And I got a really cool offer. Make sure you watch all the way to the end. If you stay to the end, I'm going to be giving you access to one of my logic maps. What is a logic map? A logic map is like, if this, then this, if this, then that. And I'm going to use that. I've used that that framework to help you decide what financial designation you should need. So after this, you might be thinking CFP, or you may be thinking, I don't know. So I've got a giveaway for you. And I'm going to do that at the end of this. So make sure you get your questions loaded up. Make sure you watch to the end. I will definitely be sharing that with you. And if you have any questions, like I said, load those up. Okay, so here's how we're going to start today. According to FINRA, and I'll leave the website that I got this information from in the show notes, but there's 180 professional designations in the financial professional designations. 180 on their website, and that's probably going to rise because they're starting to put stuff like financial coaching designations on there also. But you can say that the path to the certified financial planner designation is probably going to be considered one of the more prestigious, especially for those that want to do comprehensive financial planning. And for that matter, there's about 170,000 CFPs across the globe. But if we narrow the scope, because I know a lot of my audience is based in the United States, but I got love for all my international folks too. But just in the United States, there's over 300,000 financial advisors, but less than a third of them have the CFP designation. So let me know if you're watching, where you're watching from, whatnot. If you are interested in earning the CFP designation out there, if you're on the path to doing that, or if you're interested in doing it, let me know in the chat. I would love to know what your journey's been like so far. So all that to say, there is a slice of the financial advisor community that is going towards this, that have gone down the path. And I want to kind of talk about what that's like, at least from my perspective. So my very first idea around this, first point, is to find an educational program. Like, you're not going to be able to do the CFP exam. And this is from, I have a buddy that teaches at the flagship program in the United States, and he also does the review. And he's telling me he's seen PhDs come in and try to sit for that exam cold and not do a good job. So find an educational program. What is an educational program? So these are programs that are essentially like systems or frameworks that kind of help you maximize your output of time, money, and energy. So Dalton is one of them. That's the one I use. Kaplan has one. Zahn is another one. So take advantage of them. And this is the key thing. None of them are like better than the others, so to speak. It's just do what they say. There is a system. They have a framework. They have a methodology that they've tested over and over again. And there is a lot of, I would say there's a lot of there's a lot of data that's went into that. And so if you just follow the framework exactly, you'll be good. Now, Dalton, the one I used, on the very first thing, on the very first page of theirs, I'm just going to read you what they say to bring home my point. They said, prior to review, you need to allocate 100 to 125 hours and 10 to 15 hours over just the time value of money. Like, so probably going to be something that's on the test a lot, right? And then after the review, you need to have 30 to 50 hours in the test bank, 10 to 15 hours for case study, and about 20 hours on the lecture review. So if you're doing the math, that's at least 170 hours up to probably 200 and plus hours, 225 hours. And so that's what you need to kind of think about. I'll tell you my path, since this was about my path. I end up finishing my coursework in August of 2016. I enrolled in Dalton's Guaranteed to Pass. I started in August of 2016. I did exactly what they said to do, which was like a 3-month window to study for the exam. I sat in November and I passed the very first time. And to be honest, I felt over prepared because I did everything they said. I did not I did not veer from the path at all. So I would highly recommend that. Now, what I would say is if you work a job, that's going to be really hard. It was for me. I was doing grad study and all this other kind of stuff, but you're going to have to give up something, which I'm gonna talk about in just a second. Like I don't think I watched TV for about 2 years. So it is just like, how bad do you want it? Right. Because if you're in the middle of classes or whatnot right now, I would like to know too, because I know I've got a couple people in my Facebook group that are in there. If you're just kind of scared or whatnot, I would like to know what you're thinking. Second point is, so after you find an educational program and you get settled on that, you might have to write a big check to do that, which is well worth it. You're going to have to find some life margin. Well, what do I mean by that? In order to pull this off, you're not going to only need like a Dalton or Kaplan or educational provider. You're going to also need a support system. Like, so my wife of 22 years at this point was there to, like, she knew when I was going to study. And so she did the meals or whatnot, or she, went to the games or whatever thing, kind of pinch hitting for me as a parent or as a dad so that I can get this stuff out the way. So you're going to have to tell your friends and your loved ones that for a little bit, your life is going to be a little, discombobulated. I mean, you're going to be frazzled. You're going to be trying to look at this stuff, as much as you can, and it's going to take some time. So I tell people, like, literally, I'm about to go in the cave and I'll see you in about 12 to 18 months. So that, not to say you have to do that, but I do say that you're going to have to dedicate some time to this effort if you want to pass the first time. Like I know a lot of people that have put the work in, put the time, to put the money in, and didn't pass the first time, and then you got to take it again. Like, that's not what you want to do. You want to try to do this once and done. So I would say find some life margin, whatever your situation. If you're single, like, that might be pretty easy with you. I don't know. I haven't been single in 22 years, so I don't know what that's like. Let me know down in the comments, like, what it's like to be single studying for the CFP. I would want to see what your perspective is. And then my third point is, and I think this is really, really super important. I can't overemphasize this, but find enjoyment in the journey. Like, literally, this is a journey. Like, I've kind of maybe painted this in somewhat of a bad light, but I love this profession. I love what I do. I love helping people. I believe that this designation needs way more talented people. This profession, period, needs way more talented people. So find a way to enjoy the journey. You can have a great educational system and a great support system, but if you don't, in your mind, kind of internalize what you're doing this for and the good that it's going to do and all the things that you can learn along the way, you're going to be miserable. And I don't want that for you. So you're going to have to definitely choose this. It's like a thing that you kind of flip on in your mind to say, this is what it's going to be like for me, whether you're, in there going through time value of money and drawing these charts, or whether you're going through the estate planning stuff, or you're trying to learn tax law. And I get it. You got the Secure Act now, you got all kinds of stuff that's changing things, or you're trying to go through the ethics and you're learning the principles. Like, all that kind of stuff is going to be good for you. However, you're going to have to learn to enjoy the journey, and it is your choice. Remember your why. I talk about this all the time. Like, why are you getting into financial planning? Like, why specifically do you want to have the CFP designation? Like, remember the big picture, because your why is going to be the motivation that keeps you going while you're, on your, you're studying 20 hours a week, and after you've worked a 50 or 60 hour a week job and your weekends are shot like that, you're going to have something that keeps you going. I would say that finding that enjoyment is going to really help a lot. I'll use this analogy. Like, so in high school and in college, I ran track, and I had the high jump that I did, but at the end I would have to run the mile relay. And man, it was such a bugger because you finish with everything else and you got to wait around for that. And I think I started to like trick myself in my mind. I played kind of like mind games on myself to like psych myself up for this race, because it was the last thing. It was the last event. You're super tired. You do not want to, just be sitting there waiting around for this race. But, sometimes that's what it was. And I think to a large extent, you might have to do this for this. It's the information you're going to learn is going to be a lot of stuff, and testing and practicing and putting it into works and things of that nature. You're going to have to, kind of sort through what your why is going to be, and enjoy that journey and just embrace that process. I think, like I said, we need way more talented people having the CFP, and I think that's going to be something definitely good for you. So I want to answer some questions before the giveaway. We got a couple of I don't see who you are, Facebook user. Here, I'll put this up. I'm based in Pennsylvania, and I am currently studying for the CFP exam to career change into financial planning. Cool. Thank you. Thank you for putting that out. I think I wish you luck. If I can help, obviously reach out on LinkedIn or Facebook or however we're connected on social. I'm all over the place, and I would love to be of service if I can. Stanley says, how similar is the material for the CFA and the CFP? Not similar at all, actually. So full disclosure, I sat for level 1 of the CFA exam and failed. This was in my grad studies in 2014 or something like that. I can't remember now. And then I took the CFP afterwards. And this is the reason why I did that. So I did the CFA because in my life, I come from the hedge fund world. That was what everybody did. So I was just kind of, do like a robot a little bit, just doing what everybody said you're supposed to do, get the CFA. And then after I started studying for it, like, first of all, it was a very hard exam. The first level was just extremely hard. And then after I failed that, I had a kind of like a come to Jesus about what I was doing. I was in financial planning. I was helping people with financial plans. And so the CFP is just a more natural fit for that type of work. Not to say you can't be a CFA and a financial planner. I would just say, and this is what I strongly believe, you can disagree with me or not, I just think the CFA curriculum is overkill for a financial planner. Having looked at both of the curriculums side by side and gone through all 3 levels of the books for CFA and done the CFP also, there's just no way you're going to ever use all that CFA information. Now, there are uses for the CFA, which is not the scope of this podcast. So, Stanley, we can talk about that offline, but I would say they're not similar at all. There is going to be some overlap on certain things like time value of money, but CFP takes you down a path of tax understanding, estate understanding, retirement income understanding, retirement income planning, education planning, a whole nother spiel that is totally not even covered in the CFA curriculum. So thank you for the question. Very good question. All right. So this is the giveaway. So let me just recap. So everybody that's been watching up until this point, you are entitled to a giveaway. And so the way you do that is you're going to go here to this link, and you can download, I think it's the last choice there for the logic map. So the logic map is something I created for my e-course for people that are aspiring financial professionals. And I thought it was a really good way and I thought it was a really good way to kind of figure out what financial designation do you want. There's 180 of them, like Finra said at the top of this podcast. And like, how do you choose? How do you choose CFA? Like Stanley's question, how do you choose CFA versus CFP? How do you choose whether you want the Chartered Financial Consultant, the CHFC, right? CHFC and CFP, very similar. CFP, you have a comprehensive exam. CHFC, you do not. So like, I wanted to help people with that. So there's basically about 4 domains on there where it's like, you know, comprehensive financial planning, investment focus, tax focus, estate focus. Like, and these are the different designations that you might want to think about if you're going here. And if you want to charge for financial services, then you should think about this. Or do you want to be a coach? Then you should think about this. So that's what the logic map helps you do. And I hope that's helpful for you. It's definitely something that I put some thought into and some time into, just because I was trying to help people walk through this journey with all the different information you need. So you can go to that website link right there, click the button down at the bottom, put your name in there and email address so I can send it to you, and then put your click the option for that one, and I'll send it right off to you. So what other questions do we have? Let's make sure that I get back into the chat. I wish I could see your live streams. I'm in class though. Great content. Thank you. Thanks, Antonio. Yeah, well, you'll get the replay. The replay will be up shortly. Hussein says, how CFP and financial coaching work together? That's a good question, actually. So I'll say 2 things. First, plug for next Monday, the 3rd, February 3rd. I will be airing a podcast I did with my friend, Lauren Williams, who is a certified financial planner and an AFC, accredited financial counselor. So she's got coach and financial planner. And so she's got some really interesting perspectives. So here's what I say. I think on the continuum of financial advice, if you are a consumer, let's put yourself in the shoes of a consumer. There may be times where you don't have a lot of money, right? And a lot of financial advisors, a lot of financial professionals in this industry have minimums. So before you get to, you know, $500,000 of assets or whatever to invest, whatever that financial planner's minimum may be, you may need a financial coach just to get your debt out the way, maybe student loans you have from college or whatever. You know, I don't know when people come into the continuum of financial advice. So I think a coach would be really helpful right then. Like, you don't need investment in wealth management necessarily, or you could do Betterment or Robinhood or any of those type of things where you're not being charged for it. Then once your time becomes a little bit more valuable, you might gotta, you know, like, let's say a lot more complexity. Maybe you have kids, you got a demanding career, maybe you travel, you do all these different things. You know, the coach is not going to invest your money for you. They can't, they're not regulated that way, but a financial advisor could. So then I think you may graduate from the coach to the financial advisor. I think that's how coaching and financial advising can work together. Obviously, if you are both, you can weave them into your practice, however you choose fit or see fit. But that's one idea. Thanks, Hussein. Very good question. What are the benefits of taking the SIE first, no matter what path you choose? The SIE, for everybody that's watching, is the Securities Industry Essentials exam. It's been offered, I think it was October 2018 or something like that, that you now have to take this event. It's just an introduction to the industry, and pretty much any broker dealer that hires you is going to require you to take this. They may even sponsor it for you. But I would say this: if I was a recruiter recruiting for a program or a financial services firm, and I had to choose between 2 candidates, and I saw one that said, I really want to be in this industry, and they didn't take the SIE yet, and then I saw another one that had taken the SIE, I probably lean towards the latter. I mean, I'll look at both of them, but the person that did the SIE already on their own, I'm like, they're really serious, especially if I got, you know, a laundry and a big stack of resumes to look through. So that's one positive. But like I said, once you get sponsored by a broker dealer, you get hired by a broker dealer firm, they're likely going to sponsor that. You're going to have to take that exam anyways. Here's the difference. Back in the day, like when I came in the industry, and even before 2018, you needed to be hired or sponsored by a broker dealer firm in order to be to take any of those exams, the 7, the 6, the 63, all those, you have to be hired first. The SIE allows you to take an exam without being sponsored. So you don't have to be hired first, which kind of lowers the barrier a little bit to help people get in. So, because, a lot of times broker dealers just wouldn't hire you. They would kind of bait and switch you and say, you got to sell all this stuff. You're going to be a financial advisor, blah, 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 blah. Long story there. But the point is now you don't have to do that. So I think that you can use those benefits. You can use that as a benefit by showing your, let's call it eagerness to enter the industry. So I think that's one way to do it. Great question. Can you do both? Can you do both what, Hussein? Do both financial coaching and I'm sorry, I don't know what both you mean. How can you get CFP experience while doing financial coaching and planning on side? You really can't. And don't take my word for it. Like talk to your mentor about that or something. But here's where I'm going with that. In order to satisfy the experience requirement to use the CFP, you have to have the 6,000 hours or the 4,000 hours. So 4,000, let's just say you were doing an internship during college and you were under a CFP and you were going through all the principles and the steps of financial planning. All that experience would count and you would only need 4,000 hours of that. But normally people don't have that. So they need the 6,000 hours of requirement, 6,000 hours. And unless you're doing within your financial coaching practice, the elements that are in the job task or the job domains for, I posted this, I'll try to remember, maybe shoot me a DM or something and I can put the job domains in there from 2015 that the CFP board has. Like you got to be doing those things in order for your experience to qualify. And I'm just going to say it's not always a perfect marriage with the financial coaching that you're going to be doing that will also be satisfying the experience requirements for the certified financial planner. So it depends. I don't know what kind of coaching practice you would have where you're doing all that kind of stuff. You just might as well be a financial planner. That would be my thoughts. Okay. I'm going to put the link back up if there's no other questions, just to make sure that anybody that kind of chimed in at the last minute has that so that you can get your free logic map there. Just kind of walks you through which financial designation you should get or what you should choose based on your station in life. And so hopefully that's helpful to you. I don't think, give me a second. I don't think I have any previously submitted questions that I didn't get to this past week. I don't think so. Okay, cool. The last check of the chat. All minds clear? Good stuff. Well, I enjoyed it. Thank you for everybody joining in with me today. And we will get this up on the channel and available for you to kind of look at later if you want to. Have a great evening. We will talk to you later. Bye-bye.